Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is a rainy day here today. But yesterday I made some hot cross buns and I wanted to share that with you. And that will be kind of the breakfast that we're having today. So I want to share the recipe with you, but first, before I do, I want to make sure that I say I finally got to my P.O. box, and I want to make sure that I said thank you. I wanted to thank Roby for sending these Sugar Kiss melon seeds. I'm gonna get those planted this year. Hopefully they grow. And Sonia, thank you so much. You sent a replacement sign. You got us the first sign that is now washed away, all the color. And also this very cool vintage, it's like a grater. And it grates right into this bowl. She says she uses it for her coleslaw, so I cannot wait to use that. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all of that. And thank you for all the kind words that you shared on the last video. And I promise I'm definitely going to just focus on the positive and no longer address any of the negative. So I wanted to thank you so much for that. All right, let's go on and jump into these hot cross buns because they are a 10 out of 10. Totally recommend it. They do take a lot of time, but they're worth it. So here's how you make those. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is in this measuring cup, I have 1/4 cup of warm water. To that, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of sugar. And 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. It says it doesn't matter if it's active or quick yeast. I'm just using the rapid because that's what I have open right now. We're just gonna let this sit after we give it a quick little stir, and we're gonna let this sit and bloom for just a minute. While this is blooming or getting puffy, we are gonna go on and warm up some milk. Okay, so now this is bubbly and nice and perfect. Okay, so here we're gonna whisk together 1 cup of warm milk. I microwave that for 50 seconds, straight from the fridge. We have 1/2 cup of sugar. We have 1/4 cup or 1/2 stick of melted butter. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. About 1 teaspoon of vanilla, about 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Now we're going to whisk this all together. And we're going to add your raisins. Now this is a raisin, craisin, cherry kind of mix thing I got. That's what I'm adding. That's just what I have open versus just raisins. And you want to add about 1 cup of that. Just kind of stir this together. We're going to add our yeast mixture to this and stir that in. Then we're going to start adding our flour. I'm going to add first 2 cups. You're going to add about 3 1/2 cups or up to 3 1/2 cups. You don't want it really stiff. You still want it soft, but you need to be able to mold it. So you can just kind of start with 2. Definitely going to take at least 1 more cup, so I'll go on and add 1/3. That might be all I need. We'll see. I'm just going to see, is it something that I can kind of move around? I think I'm going to put just a tiniest bit more, flour. So I did about 3 1/4 cup. I think that's good. because you want it still pretty sticky. I'm just mixing the flour in good. Don't really have to knead it. I'm just mixing, like I said, just getting the flour in there good. That's perfect. I'm gonna toss it with a little bit of oil. And some people add orange peel to this. You could do that too as like a twist on it if you wanted. I'm just kind of rolling it in oil so that it's coated. This is gonna sit and rise for about an hour and a half. Now what I did is I just kind of warmed my oven up a hair because I have all my windows are open. So it's kind of chilly in my house. So I'm gonna let this rise in my oven. All right, so just like that, I'm gonna pop this in the oven for about an hour and a half. Okay, so now this is risen enough that I'm gonna smash it down. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna roll it into some buns and just set them here in my tray or my casserole dish. It smells so good already. Then we're gonna cover and we're gonna let this rise for about an hour. All right, so now I'm gonna cover this and let this rise for an hour. Okay, so next I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup of flour in a baggie. And I'm gonna add just a couple tablespoons of water to this. Seal it, just kind of mix it up. This is what we're gonna make our crosses with. So I just want to check. That's still a bit too floury. Okay, now I got our beautiful buns here. And I just clipped a tiny bit off this bottom part. And I'm going to take it and I'm just going to kind of go like this and make a line across the top. Then I'm going to do a line going down. Try and make it where you guys can see good. Probably could even got it a little thicker. Okay. Now that's it. This is going to go in the oven and it's going to bake 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Alright, so this is what they look like now. Now I'm going to make just a quick little icing. So I'm going to take some of this powdered sugar here. And then I'm just going to add a tiny bit of milk to the powdered sugar. And then I'm just going to stir this all together. You're not putting like a thick icing on this. Just more like a glaze. Now it also says you could add some, if you wanted some maple syrup to make it a maple flavor. I think just that'll be fine. Then I'm just going to brush it on over the top and it's just going to kind of soak on here. And then when these cool, they will be ready to go. And this is hot cross buns. Alright, so now we're going to pull one out and see how they look. They are so beautiful. Alright, so So I'm outside, as you guys can tell, even though it's very cold and nasty. I'm about to head out the door with Luke, but I filmed this morning. Just couldn't pop my head in yet. Just wild commotion with the girls home. This is they go back to school on Sunday, which is actually Theo's birthday. So we're super excited about all that, getting our Minecraft birthday all planned out. But Brooke loves Mississippi anything. Mississippi chicken, Mississippi pork, Mississippi roast is her favorite. So I want to make sure that I got some Mississippi going. So we're doing Mississippi chicken with those big boxes of chicken breasts that I got. And the only thing is I don't have any kind of gravy mix. If you've made Mississippi anything, you take either a pork gravy packet, a chicken gravy packet, or a brown gravy packet, and you mix that with some ranch seasoning and some butter and some pepperoncini peppers. And I do not have any gravy mix, so we're gonna make some up real quick and then we'll throw together this Mississippi chicken. So we're gonna take, what you would take is 4 tablespoons of a ground like bouillon powder. But I don't have 4 tablespoons worth, but I've got these chicken bouillon cubes. So I'm gonna chop up 4 of these, and I'm just making a little bit of a bulk one, so that way I've got it, just for whenever I need it. So I'm just gonna crumble up 4 of these. Actually, I'm gonna crumble up 3, and I'll use the last tiny bit that I have of the powder. That way I can just get that used up. Try and use up whatever's open. So I'm just gonna add what I've got left of that, which is probably a tablespoon worth. And to that I'm gonna add a cup of flour. This is a 1/3 cup. I'm gonna add that in there. Then I'm going to do about a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary. It says to use ground rosemary, but I don't have ground. A 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of sage. Then we're just gonna mix this all up, and this is our chicken gravy mix. So now that I got that ready, I can make this delicious Mississippi chicken. Okay, so here I have about 8 chicken breasts. We do have company. Ronnie has a guest over tonight. I'm gonna just add some of this gravy mix. I added about half of it, because that's quite a bit of chicken. And then I have this ranch seasoning. We're trying to use this up. So I'm gonna add some of that to it as well. And then some pepperoncini peppers. And I like to add a little bit of the juice to this. And then some of the peppers. And then I still had a stick of butter left from when I had Kate's birthday. So I can just put that right there on top. And that's it. This is gonna cook on low all day. Well, it's already noon, so actually I'll probably put it on high for about 5 hours. All right, and now Ash wants chocolate chip cookies, but Charles wanted a little bit of peanut butter thrown in. So we're gonna use my favorite cookbook, my 1950s cookbook. And I will show that to you guys at the end of the video because I'm outside and it's inside and I've got to run out the door for therapy with Luke. But It is my favorite cookbook. I will show it to you. I think Kate got it for me on Amazon. It's just a Better Homes and Gardens 1950 cookbook. And by far, it's my favorite. So we're gonna make some chocolate chip cookies real quick. And then I'm leaving. So I will see you guys when I get back from therapy. But while I'm gone, I'm gonna throw in a couple clips of Charles getting some homesteading done as well this weekend. Very little. But I'm gonna kind of mix it in the middle today, and you guys tell me what you think. If you want them kind of mixed in, a little bit of homesteading, or if you would rather that just be separate at the end for those that want to watch that, and just recipes at the beginning. Let me know down below which one you prefer, because spring is springing, and it started to, spring is sprung, and we need to get a lot of homesteading kind of stuff done as well. So we are gonna have lots more of that kind of content to share with you. All right. That being said, let's make these cookies, and I'll see you when I get back. Here's a look at the Better Homes and Garden cookbook. Okay, so for the cookies, we're going to start with 1/2 cup of softened butter, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of sugar. We're going to cream this together. To this, I'm going to add 1 egg. Add some vanilla. Then I'm just going to scrape the sides down a little bit. Get that going again. Then I'm going to have 1 cup of flour, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and about 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And now I'm going to mix that. And now I'm going to add some chocolate chips. And some peanut butter chips. Okay, and then I set the oven at 375, and I'm just gonna spoon the cookies on here. You could use a scoop if you want to make them, you know, perfect looking, but I'm just gonna spoon them the old-fashioned way. All right, and then I'm just gonna put these in the oven until they're done. About 5 minutes to 10 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Blue Jay Acres, and it is kind of a nice afternoon. From what I can tell, it's going to be the only one we have this week, so I'm going to get out a little bit today and get some things done before we start getting dumped on with rain. I will say, looking at the weather forecast, I'm hopeful just because we have freezing temperatures tonight, but then after that, as far as I can see, I think 40s, maybe upper 30s is about as low as we get. That is going to be really good. I mean, that is our time to start getting out, really, and getting things done. Primarily because things like, you know, watering animals and that, we don't actually have to turn off the water outside for that. So I can get some things done a little bit faster and we get a little bit more done in the day. I think we've got a couple days coming up here that it's either in the 70s or pretty close to 70 this week, even though right now they're saying that we're gonna get a little bit of rain. So we'll get through it. We're gonna make the best of it. That said, one of the things the kids did for me was to make me a bunch of pine cone mulch for me to put around the blueberry plants, and I didn't get that actually done. It's really cool though, running that through the electric chipper makes a great mulch, and I think it's going to work well. So I've got my bundle of pizza boxes, which we save. You know, when you buy a pizza, you buy the box too. So instead of recycling those boxes, I repurpose them here around the homestead to kind of use as a weed barrier. Put them in my raised garden beds. I put them, you know, under mulch, things like that, to keep the grass from growing, because they're going to break down the same as anything else. They're great for a compost pile. There's no harm in it. Nothing I've read anyway indicates there's any harm in it. So, Little Caesars, thank you for the boxes.
I am back and now it's just time for dinner. So I don't have a lot more to show you. Here is this chicken, is looking gorgeous. So all I do with this now is I just shred it all up. And then it'll get all stirred up into this gravy. And we're just gonna serve this with some rice tonight. Brooke has been waiting all day. She's smelled it all day. It smells so good. So I will get Charles to do a taste test. So here it is. And Charles is gonna try it. All right. He's gonna try it for you. The griddle's out because I had to make pancakes earlier today. And the kids washed it for me.
Oh, this just came out of the crock pot, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. You're like the longest taste tester ever.
Alright. Okay, that's really good. This taste tester knows when it comes out of a crock pot, it's hot.
We're gonna have another crock pot dinner tomorrow. We got such a busy day.
Tell you what, it's really good. And on a kind of a cool, miserable day like it is out there today, this kind of warms you up from the inside, so.
Plus, it's Brooke's favorite.
Oh, that's just a perk.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye everybody, see you tomorrow.